All right, welcome everyone to our weekly Zoom call. This week we have Rina and Kurtis that's joining us to share their top 3 tips on how to increase and improve your PRV, which I think is something we all always are trying to do, aren't we? Like as consultants, is always kind of reinventing ourselves, trying to come up with ideas on how to constantly improve and just get outside and build our customer circle and meet new people. So I remember Rina and Kurtis. I actually remember not Kurtis, but remember Rina coming to my launch party, which was 6 years ago. She was one of the originals. And I remember she ordered a Jane warmer, which is hasn't been around for a very, very long time. But I remember she got a Jane warmer and it was blueberry cheesecake, which I think made them fall in love with Scentsy. So I'm excited to share, to hear what they have to share tonight. And I'm going to hand the time over to them. Remember, leave your questions to the end so it doesn't get too much while they're presenting. They might even look at the question box. If you're on your phone or your computer, there's a chat box below and you can pop up questions along there and I'm sure that they'll get to it. Otherwise, at the end, I will send the questions through to them so that they can answer them. But I'm handing the time over to you guys.
Hi guys.
Hey.
I'm Rina. This is Kurtis. We've been a power team since 2013 when we first joined. And it basically, like Cindy said, I had no idea why I joined Scentsy except for the fact that I loved the nice smelling home. Being a mum of 6 kids, like 5 of them are boys, 1's a girl. You could imagine that I needed a nice smelling home. But when Cindy first asked me when I went to the first launch party was, why did you join Scentsy? Honestly, I had no idea. The first thing that pops out of my mouth, because I'm pretty raw like that, was like, yeah, I'd like bigger boobs. Like seriously, that's exactly what pops out of my mouth. And I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, and I'm like, holy crap, and so she goes, so you would like money? I was like, just the boobs. That was it. And that's where that was like on my mindset. But it wasn't until I joined the first SFR that I realized what it really was, because I really had no idea. I just wanted to sell the stuff. When I had the first SFR on the Gold Coast, I actually what I wanted, what I couldn't have, was when my son announced that he was getting married 2 weeks before SFR, already paid for it or had already organised everything. He was getting married and went back to New Zealand. I couldn't go because I couldn't uproot the whole family. When he was gone, there would be 7 left, and we couldn't. I physically didn't go because we're still fresh in New Zealand. In Australia, and we couldn't attend. So me going to SFR and only getting to watch my son's his wedding through Skype at the time on a small little phone during lunchtime, like really ripped me in half. Like I literally cried the whole lunchtime. Didn't even get to eat at SFR. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't figure out why I wasn't there to walk with my firstborn, let him know that I was there to support him. So that's when I decided, maybe the Scentsy thing is a good thing. Maybe it can help us, So, family was a huge why for me, especially when I decided to run with it properly. We found out that Jojo, who is our last son before our daughter, he was 4 at the time, and being a giant 4-year-old diagnosed with ASD, we had no idea what was coming for us. So I couldn't afford anything. So we had to literally learn everything on our own. So I had to, trust in Scentsy that it would help me get through this and then learn all the training, plus train myself to be that OT and stuff, So family really, really plays a big part of my life. And it still is today. The moment one of our oldest teens, he needed braces, which cost us $7,500, and we couldn't afford it. But we worked hard at the business to save for the deposit to get it. And now, we pay off the monthly thing. So I thought, as long as I'm making money to make enough money to pay off his monthly bill, it's going to be okay, because he needed 2 eye teeth that were growing at the back of him like fangs pulled to the front, and his jaw was out of line, and we needed that extra cash. So that's why, every time we come up with something, it's always our family, right?
Yeah.
So
That's right. And for me, Sensi started when I walked into the house, and my wife, Rina, phoned me while I was away to say, I'm joining Sensi. And I was like, oh, great, another thing that you're going to join. And so when I got home, I think you'd sent me something, and I actually did some research.
Yeah.
And I just told her how different Sensi was compared to the other direct selling companies and other sort of business ideas that are out there in the market at the time. And I walked into the house and I could smell fresh baking, and Rina makes this beautiful chocolate chip cookie. Tastes really nice. And I walked into the house expecting to get some of these freshly baked cookies. I walked to the oven because the chicken oven, nothing was there. Check in the cupboards, asked the kids if everyone had eaten them all. Before you know it, my wife's like, "Oh, actually, no, it's my Sensi," and I was like, "You're what?" And it's a Sensi bar of sugar cookie going in the lounge, and I was just blown away. And I said, "That is unbelievable! I cannot believe that I literally walked into a bakery, and it's your stupid Sensi just signed up for." But fast forward like 7 years or 6 years, it's, for me, it's about support. So the biggest thing with Sensi consultants is quite often they feel like, they're doing it by themselves and they don't have a voice, and people aren't listening to them, and they don't know who to talk to, and those sorts of things. And I guess one thing that I could help Rina with is I can be that voice or just that ear to listen to the moans and just give some advice where I could. But if you are a partner, or if you are a supportive person in the Sensi relationship or business, just make sure that you're there when they need them. For me, I'm an IT guy, so I'm a little tech savvy, so I do a bunch of things, and that sort of helps with the IT side of things. So for me, that's probably the biggest thing, and I do Sensi. I guess my why for Sensi is that Rina, I see the change in her, and I see her growing into this amazing woman that she's become today. And like, she was a mouse, she couldn't talk to anybody, she was afraid to do any parties, but now she'd stand up in front of hundreds and present. And so that's my I'm pretty stoked with where she's got to today. Yep.
The thing on my list is branding. Branding was a huge thing for me, like when we first started. I can't remember when it was, but a little story back, I have my cars branded because I'm always on the road. I'm the Uber driver of the family. Take this guy to work and back, the kids to school, their appointments, everything like that. So that's what I do. So I put a sticker on the back of the car, and one day we actually got chased down, and I drove my sister to where she needed to go, and then go to shopping and stuff and all that. On our way back to her house, we literally got I was telling her, there's this crazy lady behind us. You keep looking, and she's flashing. I'm like, have I done something? Did I cut her off? And it wasn't until we got all the way to her house when she was living in Coomera Rivers, and I was like, holy crap, there's ladies behind us. What the heck is their problem?
Get the baseball bat.
I was like, that's it. I'm going to go out and see her. So I jumped out of the car trying to off my chest up and stuff, and be like, yeah, are you okay? And she goes, oh my gosh, thank you, you stopped. Okay, I went to a women's expo. I found a Sensi consultant. She gave me these gorgeous samples. I want to put an order in. I saw your car as I was driving, so I chased you. And I was like, oh, okay, right. I was like, okay, that's what it was, right. And because I never leave the home Sensi naked, and that's what first taught us right at 2013. Never leave the home Scentsy naked. So in my car, I either had a catalog or I've got business cards. It's always on me. And so I'm like, yeah, you know what? Great, I can help you. So I handed my business card and she goes, yeah, I want these particular women of that, because the consultant I got a hold of at a women's expo, she didn't have any details on it. So I was like, right. So I'm like, so we contacted, we talked, and I was able to get, you know, a $250 order off her, you know, and then I'm like, I was blown away, and I'm like, you know, this branding really works. You know, you've got to label your stuff. It's crazy. I mean, you know, I found that in the past, I literally eat, sleep, repeat, you know, everything Scentsy. It's stuck in my head. I can't switch it off. And this guy will go to bed and he literally will see me on my phone messaging, and he wakes up and I'm up at like 4, 5 in the morning on my phone. And he'd be like, did you not sleep? And I'm like, oh yeah, I did. But I had to get up and message this person. It's almost like I'm dreaming of them. Right. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But your branding's huge. Like, we invested $35 in our sticker for our car, our van.
Yeah.
And we got returned on it within a few weeks. And I'm big on analytics and statistics and all that sorts of things, and understanding where we're getting our business from. And every customer that Rina would get approached, I'll be like, ask them how they found out about us. You know, did they see the van sticker? Did they get a business card? Did they see us at a market?
Yeah.
Just so we understood which area of our business was I guess creating sale. And that's a big part, to know where your effort is going and if it's actually returning. So a lot of people can do a bunch of things like mail drops and all those sorts of things, like advertise. There's a bunch of avenues where you can try and get your brand out there, but you need to understand which brand is giving you the biggest return. And that's the key thing, is actually understanding, is that sticker that I brought for my car returning any investment? Are those business cards helping with something somewhere? If anything, you got to think about Scentsy as a business, and the professionalism comes with a business, and just making sure that you've always got yourself branded when you're working your business.
Yeah. What's that one?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. And with that, you know, consistency I found is the key. We went on the Singapore incentive trip, and I literally hit rock bottom. When I came back from the Singapore incentive trip,
It was an amazing trip.
It was an awesome trip. Like, it was so relaxing. But I got back and balance went out the door. Everything went out the door. I was like, no longer, I was anti-Scentsy, did not want to know. I really hit rock bottom then. And then I just thought, you know, I had to contact all my frontline and let them know. Take over the team page. If anything's important, you know, text me, let me know. But I'm going MIA. I need a break. You know, I couldn't do it. I couldn't function with markets and all that. I missed the kids so much because I'm, you know, all about the family and stuff. And I just wanted nothing to do a part of it. So I thought, as long as I'm consistent with my Facebook page, all my posts and stuff, letting people know I'm still here, you know, I'm hoping that the return will still come. You know, that was a huge thing. I mean, you know, everybody has a part where, you know, you're gonna hit a downfall, but you have to keep going and move your way up. You know, you have to just keep connected, even though it is tough, because you have your brick walls that you're gonna hit. You really gonna hit them, and when I hit that, I think that was the worst I've ever felt. I didn't hate on Scentsy. I just was literally burnt out. I couldn't find my balance anymore. I had to reassess everything. So I had to take 2 steps back, to go forward again in order to find that balance in my life.
And focus on the basics, on those fundamentals.
Just go back to the basics. Like when you first started Scentsy, like the excitement is everything. And we were pumped and we were like, yeah, have you seen this? Have you seen that? And we're like spewing Scentsy all over Facebook. Like, we're literally like vomit material, right? Because we want to tell everybody. Well, I forgot all that. It all went out the door. And I just was like, no more. I'm going for a walk. And yeah.
And the thing with consistency is there's so many areas in Sensi where, you know, there's personal skills that you can pick up along the way. And some people automatically have certain skills. So one might be a dynamite at doing markets, whereas someone else is like the best at doing like home parties or even Facebook parties. Right? You got to stick with what you're good at and ride that as far as you can until you can't ride what you're good at anymore, and then you start looking for something else. But remember, the more avenues you have open, the more consistent avenues that you focus on, the more successful you'll be in the end.
Yep.
So when you first started, what did you first do?
I was really big on basket parties.
Yeah.
Huge on basket parties. I hated the face-to-face because I was literally a mouse.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk to anybody. And my biggest consultants were men because I kind of related to them a lot more than ladies. It was a lot easier to talk to men than it was ladies. So basket parties were definitely my thing, where I would do the random, you know, maybe some randoms at businesses and drop them off and just try my luck there and stuff like that. So basket parties were definitely my thing. Home parties were not, because I'd get there and be like,
but
I don't want to do this.
But what was your return in comparison between your basket party and your home party? Like how much PRV would you sort of rake in on a home party versus a basket party?
Probably like 500 to 600.
Yeah, so I'm a numbers guy, so I remember what it is. So with a basket party, she would get sort of 400 to 500 PRV on a basket party, and on a home party, she could easily get 600 to 800 PRV from a home party. And so I ran the numbers and said, look, you're putting this amount of effort, these amount of hours doing home parties, they're getting in a lot more PRV than your basket parties. And so because Rina just nailed basket parties and was super successful there, I said, well, how about instead of sending out like 5 basket parties in the month, how about 10 basket parties in the month and see what happens? And you know what? Her business doubled because she was doing double the amount of basket parties. It did mean that you had to put additional effort in. And so it's about finding the balance and finding the things that are working for you, but you're still doing home-based parties as well. So you increase those. And it's about learning a skill, getting better at it, or faking it till you make it. And that's really the best way you can do it. Some people, I've seen people doing so well with Facebook and those sorts of social media type interactions.
Parties and stuff,
like if it works, don't stop it. Like keep it going.
You gotta run with what you're good at.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really a good thing. Like if you're good at something, then run with it. I mean, see, I'm not a bingo person. I tried to listen to the call last week, and it was really hard because I've never done it. I've tried to go to some bingo games and do it, and then I'm still sitting there going, what? I'm just dabbing up. I still didn't get it. So it's something I can learn.
Love it, and they do really well.
We do have them, and they love it, and I'm still trying to get my head around that sort of thing. And you know, so I mean, there's always room to improve and stuff, and to learn different ways of doing things. I mean, like these things here. These are definitely my employees. I send about 3 to 4. Sorry, one of my customers' kids cut the top. But I send 3 to 4 of these out every single month without fail. I've got some out already, and one of the parties just returned back tonight, and she brought back. And these are with customers, you know, because I've got my laminated copies that go inside them. Now I had a customer return hers back today. These are all customers that have returned. That she done it. She's done parties before. Yeah, they've done it all before, so they know what to do. It's not a random. I just literally gives that with catalogs, with that catalog, one catalog, and then I send out the all forms. It comes back, and she brought home back an $850 party. and that customer that's returning, they're always coming in. And so I'm like, here you go, here's your catalog party, away you go. They don't need much from them, but I keep in contact with the customers to be able to get those sort of parties out, and they work for me every single month. So they're never at home. This one, obviously just returned. So once this one's back, I'm working for the next month. So right now we're in May. We're in May, so I'm working for June right now to get my next parties out before June's even started. So they'll take it away, and then they start working for June with all my return customers that are local, to generate the June sales. Is what I'm doing. So, yeah.
And the thing is with things like basket parties is if you get the coaching and you get the just the basics of what a basket party is with your host, and they understand it, and they are successful with their party, they're going to want to come back every time. And one of the biggest things is your effort that you put up front has long payoffs. So like, for example, the one that we're doing now, this is like a 6th party that she's done, and every single time they're qualifying 800 plus. So it's I guess if you look after those customers that are genuine VIPs, they're the ones that you're going to get returns from. So make sure you can look after your customers, but we sort of treat every customer like it's a VIP approach, because you just never know if they're going to come back again.
That's it, yeah.
And that sort of leads on to an awesome tool, and I've harped on about this for years. And actually, my last live that we did with Cindy and the gang, I talked about this, and it's the Amy. What was it called back then?
Maven,
yeah. So Amy is one of those tools that it's underrated. People don't understand just how powerful Amy actually is. And so if you're in any sort of professional industry where you have sales, you understand that a CRM or some sort of marketing tool is extremely important. And to have a marketing tool like at a corporate or professional level, it costs thousands of dollars to have a tool that can achieve what this free or this inexpensive, I consider inexpensive tool called Amy is it is able to monitor and track sales, monitor and track your contact with your customers, your follow-ups, your repeat orders, like all this sort of correspondence. And I call it a CRM system is lumped into one program that's customized specifically for Sensi consultants. And it's one of those areas where if you're not consistent, then you can find you can miss opportunities, because there's 3 contacts that are made in Amy. The first one is thank you for your order, right? And what you get back from that is, hey, it hasn't shown up yet, or it's amazing. The next one, which is I think it's 2 weeks roughly, is asking for feedback, haven't received it. And then that's when you can sort of say, hey, you tried such and such, and try and get some sort of relationship building going with your customer. And then, of course, the last one is, hey, it's been a while, have you run out? Do you need to top up? What would you like? And that interaction, that personal interaction with Sensi is what Sensi is about. So if you're not using personal contact or personal interaction, you're doing the business wrong. So you need to make sure that that's how everything you do in Sensi is personal. Yeah.
We got a question there.
We got a question already. Questions at the end?
No, that's it now. That's all good. That's fine.
Okay, so that is that it? Are we on Q&As already? All right, we've got, there's a bunch of them. So did you want to? Yes.
That's so cool. Yes, I do that too.
Are you going to do this?
I don't know how we work this. Oh, just carry on.
Okay, so
I think it's after.
right, so this is Celia.
Yeah, Celia.
Yeah, so she's saying, I've struggled with consistency and I've lost my mojo a few times. Would love to know what you've found, how you found your mojo again. Yeah, and then she's then got my basket parties, scraping, qualifying. Yeah, what stuff do you put in your basket parties? How many testers in each? Yeah, really good question.
Yeah. Thanks, Celia. That is an awesome question because I always customize the basket to what the customer wants. So if they just want, like, say you've got a whole lot of ladies that want to do a baby shower or something, then I'd put just baby, things related to babies, buddies, not necessarily bath wash or anything, but I'll customize it definitely to what they want. That's how I would usually look at them.
But that comes with questioning at the start to understand.
Yeah, like hostess coaching. Definitely hostess coaching is that if you can understand what they want
and what they love,
then that's it. And then what they want out of it, what they want in return. So if they just say, hey, I'm hoping to get this party boosted up so they get a half price diffuser, which you need 2 half prices to get the diffuser at half price, a premium. You'll want to go, okay, then this is what we need, and say, try and do the math for them to break it down so that they can understand how, we need to get X amount of sales in order to get this. We'll customize the basket in order for your guests to understand it. Like, I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, you're basically coaching them so they understand how they can maximize the benefits of the basket.
Yeah.
And you're trying to put to the basket together that is as close to what you think is what they are looking for. Definitely, the biggest thing is if you can provide things that they love, and most of you guys have been doing Sensi for a while, would say that contest to this, that if the host loves something, chances are everyone else that comes to that party or is involved is going to love it as well.
Yeah, so their excitement was what will drive it.
Talk about washer whips and how amazing they are, and how they're
all going to
smell my towels and my socks, whatever it is. That's gonna brush off on them, and they're gonna see the love and the excitement that they have, and they're gonna want to buy it too.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. Yeah, especially with like buddy drives and those sorts of things.
And to get my mojo back, what I had to do when I went to Singapore is I literally had to go back to when I started and all the achievements of how I've succeeded over the time. So we went to our first incentive, which was LA and St. Louis, which was our first overseas American trip. Like, that was the very first. And going back from, like, after going to Singapore and all that, and going back to the beginning and how much we've accomplished, how much people we've talked to, how much we've learned over the time and stuff like that, how much things we've done. I had to go back and revisit the old memories to bring that excitement back in, because I had forgotten it all. I just went, you know what, Sensi's nuts. They're hard work. I literally went from one incentive trip to another, and here I am at a market, and I'm hugely jet lagged, and why am I here again? I haven't seen my kids, so I had to it took me a month, but I had to revisit. I had to revisit back to when I began to bring the excitement back into when I first started. So that's a huge thing. We've got to go back.
Yeah, got some more questions. So what are the benefits on Google Ads? So if you guys probably don't know, but we've been on it for a while.
7 years.
Yeah, on and off actually. So we first tried Google Ads, and it's right down my alley. So I'm a analytical IT professional. So my job is to analyze data and come up with strategies. So for me, I've been doing it for like 15 years. So this sort of stuff's my bread and butter. But if you look at Google this way, you have to start small and work your way up. So you got to look at, and you have to be tech savvy. You can't just wing it. There are a few people that wing it and they seem to do okay, but it's one of those things where I'm laughing at this comment. Yeah. It's one of those things where you have to understand what it is, right? So there's two parts to Google. First part is your Google Analytics. And I
This is free.
apologize if I'm getting too tech, but
It's free,
this is
yeah.
very high level. So it's free system. It tells you who visits your PWS and where they've come from. That's pretty much it.
And
Do
they
they
can
come
look
from
at that free.
Facebook? Do they come from a direct referral? You know, it tells you where they've come from.
They can look
And
at it free.
and that's free. That's
Yeah,
a free
that's free.
service that Google does. So I highly recommend if you're seeing a lot of things coming through and what time and what part of the country they come from, that's all part of the analytics component. The second part is the advertising, and that's if you've done Facebook advertising, which is relatively easy to do with Facebook. It's somewhat similar, but there's a lot more back end sort of, I guess, history and things you need to understand. And people do courses they pay up to $12,000 for a 2-day course to learn about this, right? So it's one of these things that if you don't have the exposure, don't overcommit yourself. Start small and work your way through it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got.
But even with
this one here.
even with the that's at least. Even though you do the Google ads or any sort of paid advertising, you actually have to do the hard work, which is you've got to keep in contact with them. You got to have, then that's where Amy comes in, because it helps you keep in contact with them.
Yeah.
It does your first week, your 2 week, your follow-ups. It does everything for you, and that's how. And so, a lot of my return customers like that buy oftenly. So usually when these big recruiting months come up, I've actually got. I have majority of them, like I think I have six randoms that have joined, and I welcomed them in, and I just stepped them through whether they add me on Facebook or not. I still talk to them through the email, but everyone else are all return customers because they've bought so much. So I monitor how much they buy through, they could have been one advertising ad, and I've monitored them, and then when this promotion comes up, I actually approach them and say, hey, have you realized that the amount of stuff you buy, you could actually join Sensi and buy for yourself, because you buy a crap load over this amount of months. You've bought this, and you can earn X amount of commission back off what you bought.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay, and I'm like, the sales come up, and and so that's how I keep in contact with all of them to get them to rejoin. To get them to join.
Yeah. We find that our biggest return is that personal contact that we make after they've visited your Facebook page, after they've seen like an ad, or after they've visited a market. That's when they come back, or if they inquire. It's about how you treat them as a customer and what they get out of it. So there's a few more questions about Google Ads, about what you should invest. When I first started investing, it was very, it was very little. So it was like $5 max, like a week, and then as I built up the history and got better at it, it gradually built up to, you're looking at about $20, but it comes.
It varies.
Yeah, it varies. Like our first attempt at doing it, we got burnt pretty fast. Yeah, like we lost like $100, and I was like, oh, that's it, we're done. So I just pulled the plug, and we didn't go back. Yeah, like it's very easy to lose money, and I got pre-warned about this with a professional in the industry. And it took me a long time to build up. And Google's all about history, and there's more work that comes into understanding the analytics section, and where the benefits are. But it's like, if it's worth the crack if people are interested, but it is technical, definitely technical. So percentage of sales on ads. So when you get pretty good at sort of online marketing, if you're doing a 50-50, that's pretty good. So if you're looking at 50-50, but that took 6 years of history, of online history to get to that point. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. If you start off and you're doing, 5 to 10% of your sales are coming in through that media, then you're doing all right. Yeah.
So what is it? Yeah. I think the last thing that we do is the markets. Okay.
Yeah.
We're like giant kids. So one of the markets that we do, and we've been doing for forever, I think, is our GC market that we do. We've been doing it for quite a while now, and we've built up the customer history there and it. But we don't carry a lot of stock. We honestly don't carry a lot of stock. We have stock, but it's very minimal because we don't have the room in our home. So when we do our GC market, it goes for 3 days. It's once a year, over 3 days. It's a big thing, but our whole team gets together. And we all collaborate whatever stock we've got, and it goes up, and we divvy it back out. Did we say? Divvy it back out. But it's a big thing. We're like giant kids when it comes to these things. Dressing up and going out of character is definitely our thing. We really love that sort of stuff, and we get right into the emotions of Sensi. We really love to party. So
yeah, that's right. It's probably the biggest thing. So a few more basket party, just really quickly. Do you want me to sum up what a basket party is? Basket party is a real small sample of Sensi, so you might put 12 fragrances or maybe 20 fragrances in a container, and a sample of a product of Sensi, whether it's a small bit of washer whiffs that they can use, a warmer that they can plug in or they can have a look at. Just an example, it's basket parties are generally for those who are fresh, who doesn't know much about Sensi, or they've seen it, they just want a little bit more information, and they don't want to have a home party. They don't want to have 100 people come over and sit down for an hour, but they will have friends come and visit, and throughout the week they'll come and get sales. So we don't have much time, I think. Cindy, is that right?
There's one more question.
Yeah, so that was...
What's your favorite scent?
Mine's Blueberry Rush, which
that's mine. Out. Blueberry Rush is a hit. Honestly, when we go back to the markets, we pop out that Blueberry Rush and it draws them all in. They could be anywhere and they can smell us before they see us. So we immediately stuck that straight on the Sensi Club, because that's a winner. Sensi Club is a winner. And I make sure I get my bars in, because it does. When you put on a hit fragrance that can catch it, catch everyone's notes, where you've got the sweets and sour and the savory together. I think Blueberry Rush is it. But in season, in season is definitely lime zest vanilla for me. I absolutely love that.
So tips on Google Ads. My tips is to just try things out until you get it working. Like I said, I've had 15 years experience prior to this, so I wouldn't recommend people to do it straight off the bat. Definitely do it as an extra thing. Once you've nailed the business, you've got everything else working for you, then start looking at it.
I think it's Sandy's thing.
But I think that wraps up our time. Cindy, did you want to say anything? I think we've got 1 minute left.
Sorry, Cindy.
No, I was going to say, I put a message through that not to rush. It's totally fine.
Okay. Because last time we did a Zoom call with our team, and 40 minutes, and then it just chopped off, and everyone disappeared. We're like,
where did they go?
I have the, when you have the free Zoom app, it cuts off at 45. I've got the business one, so we can go for...
Oh, cool.
As long as you guys need it.
So, any other questions before we just rush the end there? I was like, we have to finish in 25 minutes, so we save enough time for questions.
I'm really big on learning what others have to do, but I'm one of those people that I'm like, okay, they do this. How can I do that and squash it so I can do it faster in a smaller time frame? Because I'm not, if if it doesn't capture me in 5 odd minutes, I'm like, huh? You know, I'm like, I'm so lost.
Yeah.
So where I have to like, hey, listen to this. What do you get with this? And then you'll analyze it and bring it down. I'm like, oh, right, they want me to do this. Okay, great. I'm going to do it faster because that's too long for me.
Yeah.
I'm like that. I'm that person.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I guess that those are our 3.
Tips on breaking it up. Okay.
So you have one last question, and then we'll let you guys go. It's
Fine.
tips for
Oh, yeah.
branching out your customer base. Like, how do you guys get new customers?
Yep. So, well, you can talk about when you start off.
Myself?
Yeah. So for newbies, branching out, it's about getting out of your comfort zone. It really is.
Yeah, comfortable within the comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah. You got that wrong.
Yeah. And I'm only speaking because I've seen Rina do it her entire Sensi life.
I've had a lot of no's, like a ton of no's where it's now become comfortable. So, because I do a lot of sports, like our daughter plays netball and our sons play basketball, and I play netball indoor and outdoor as well as Super League. You know, I'm pretty big, so the branding kind of helped me a little bit to get out. Because I mean, I have like now they've got those cool Sensi side bags, the sports bags you can take, and I take that everywhere with me. And inside it, it's got a scent pack, and it's got the catalog, and it's got a room spray, of course, because you stink, and you know, and I've created this culture now that everyone knows when you're up at the Div 1 for Super League, which is what I play, everyone knows you have this nervous pee thing. Sorry, too much info, but it's exactly what you got. And they all know, yeah, there goes T. Oh, she's grabbed her room spray because she hates the smell. I hate public toilets. It's my, like, I can't, it's my pet peeve. Like, if I need to go, I'm holding that, but unless I've got my room spray, but they all know. You know, and so now they're like, you know, what is it that you got? So it's created a culture where they've actually come to me and asked, what is that you carry all the time? You know, you spray it on yourself before you get on the court, and then I see people going like this, trying to smell you, and I was like, I'll talk to you later. Let's play, you know. So I really have crack up moments like that. You know, I am a practical jokester, and I know that I'm quiet on the Facebook thing because my mind just literally blows and my fingers don't write fast enough, and I've already skipped half the conversation, you know, because I'm like, oh crap, I just missed half of what I really wanted to say, and oh man, it's back and start again. But you know, I get so excited, but it's become natural to me with all the amounts of no's that I've made it easy and created that culture where talking to customers is now so much easier. I mean, even with our son, our oldest boy, he's 18 now. He plays basketball, and I put a scent pack in their bags all the time, in his sports bags, and he gets the basketball and he throws it to his friends. The first thing they do is they grab their ball and they're like, man, your balls smell nice. And then I look at them and go, that's inappropriate, you know, like, don't say that. But they, you know, innocent kids, they say those sorts of things. And then, you know, go, oh, you know what, it's my mum's Sensi stuff she puts in my bag. She hates the smell of my shoes. So, man, I've got to show my mum. And off those kids go, and they show, Mum, smell this. Yeah. Smell my friend's wall. It's crazy. It does go like that, though, you know, like and then before you know it, the kids, without even thinking, have already gone out and done the work. Yeah, Mum puts these crazy things in my bag. She says we need it. We stink. Yeah. She clips these on, and so I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. And I remember at the start, like just going to businesses and just like going with a basket party or just asking them about it. So I think Gypsy asked about going to school. So you did a bunch of schools right at the start.
I hit up the office ladies hard, and
Yeah, you
some
become
schools,
friends with them first,
I
and then
become
you hit them up.
yeah, and I do the sneakies, honestly. I do the sneakies where I'm like, I make sure I go and I've got a little bit of a side bag, and I've got to drop off paperwork. Then all of a sudden, it's not these, but it might be in a small bag. I'm like, all of a sudden, like, put them out on the counter, and I'm like, oh, hold on, and it's coming out like that, and I'm like, oh, geez, and they're like,
Oh, what's that?
Oh, Mrs. Davies, what is that? I'm like, oh, that's my Sensi. And then that opens the door for me to talk. And I'm like, bang. And I'm like, oh, no, we can't have those warmer smelling things in our here. And I'm like, oh, that's where you need the Sensi Go, or the fragrance flower, because that is awesome. It's just a little flower. It looks pretty in here. They won't even know. Yeah. And
or you can have a party. That's
I was like, oh, have a party, and then, round up the girls, let's do this. And I honestly, I go into this because I'm really like, my days out, I'm like this staunch, hard Kiwi girl. I'm like, don't talk to me, because I've got that face on. And then if they mention Santi, I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm like, I just lighten up straight away. It naturally just starts coming out, and bam. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I think
Hope that helps.
yeah, I hope that helps everybody. It's good.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. Rambling.
Yep, I can do that. Can do that.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate you guys taking the time out off a busy night. And I know you guys are all about family, so we appreciate you guys taking the time out to come and share with us your top tips about how to increase your PRV. So thank you so much. Next week, we will have Leanne coming on, and she'll be teaching about sponsoring. So I'll put the event up over the next 24 to 48 hours. This recording will hopefully be up within the week, and you guys can share it with your teamies that weren't able to come on here. And one of the big things that I liked that they shared a lot was they were just going back to basics with consistency, with branding, and having a why. We kind of brush past those things, but like they shared, it's one of the most important things that's kept them growing. So if you haven't revisited those 3 things, make sure that you are, and consistency is a really big key, and that's generally what is the difference between someone that has high PRV and someone that has low PRV, is their consistency to their business. All right, well, thank you for joining us, everyone. We appreciate you guys, and if you guys have any topics or people that you would like to invite on our call, please put it up on the page or let your directors know, so that we can organize that for you guys. Thanks, Rina and Kurtis.